What's up, everyone? It's December and we have mail to go through. We have a bunch of it. It's been piling up. I really want to get this out before the holiday, so we're going to talk about a bunch of mail that I've been purchasing. We're going to go over the December's version of what I'm buying, and the video starts now. Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat. Hello. Welcome to the day. Thank you for spending your time with us. Welcome to another episode of Drake and Josh Do Magic. I am Drake. I'm going to be your host today. We're going to be talking about some Magic the Gathering cards that I'm buying. If you like these videos, click like and subscribe. It's a great way to support the channel. If you want to get involved on a deeper level, head on into Patreon. The link is in the description of the video. What have I been buying? There's some Modern Horizons 2 stuff in here. There's some Adventures in the Forgotten Realms stuff in here. There's some Crimson Vow stuff. I'm going to talk about what I've bought, how much I paid for it, and my thought process. Let's just talk about some cards. So first things first, we have a bunch of copies of Laid to Rest foil. Price point on these was 25 cents. There's multiples in here, but we don't need to go over all of them. I think about 16 of these at 25 cents a piece. Laid to Rest, whenever human you control dies, draw a card. Whenever creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it dies, you gain 2 life. So think of cards like Viridian Revel, all the way back from Scars of Mirrodin. It took a while for a card like this to take off. I think that this card, even though higher mana value, I think this card is really strong. In a Humans Matters EDH, a lot of the stuff we talk about on this channel comes from the lens of Commander. So from a Commander standpoint, in a Humans Matters, Counter Matters type strategy, this card is really good. Obviously, if it's both, it gets even better. So just think about like how Magic the Gathering is constantly evolving. I really do like these cards a lot. I think that, you know, 25 cents for uncommon foil, I don't mind holding that. Like that's pretty much the point of this kind of thing, is kind of like set it and forget it, and then later on hope it did something. I really like enchantments because they're very difficult to deal with. Next we have Curse of Hospitality, and let's get this off of here. We'll go ahead and talk about the card a little bit. I really like Curse of Hospitality, and the reason that I do, what did I pay for this? Curses, $1.25 each. So enchant player, creatures attacking an enchanted player have trample. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to enchanted player, that player exiles the top card of their library. Until end of turn, that creature's controller may play that card, and they may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast that spell. So this is a curse that is going to shut down, in my opinion, like the sweatiest player at the table. This is a way to turn off their combo pieces if you exile them. Everybody who attacks this player is incentivized. Very cheap entry point here, only $1. A lot of the stuff that I buy in this series, there's specs. Sometimes I buy stuff for the collection, but a lot of the time I'm buying it with the intention of trading the cards in the future once they've gone up in value. It's a pretty good way to get a target off of you and send it at somebody else. I like this card a lot. I think people are sleeping on it. Again, nothing on this channel is financial advice. Now, I actually did make a short about these, so before anybody calls me out and they're like, you front loader, you made a short about how you like this card. Yeah, I mean, the needle hasn't moved on it. It's still a 25 cent foil. I picked up a play set of foils here. Again, like I just said, at 25 cents. I really like this Mana Rock. A lot of people in EDH, they like the Thought Vessels. They like the Signets. You know, 2-cost Mana Rocks are very good. But I actually do think that there's a place for 3-cost Mana Rocks, especially when they have a really good ability like this. Exile target card from a graveyard for 2. Now, if you have this open, if someone's trying to combo off, maybe they play like a Yawgmoth's Will, maybe they cast some sort of, you know, Eternal Witness targeting, whatever, you can, in response, exile the card that they're targeting. So, I mean, this is a really interesting card. This is the first time ever we've seen this effect on a Mana Rock. I really like this card. And again, it's only a 25 cent card. Nothing on this channel is financial advice. It's all for the purpose of entertainment. This is just what I'm buying. I'm sharing it with you. Don't copy my buys. Don't buy the same stuff as me. Do whatever you want. Do your own research. I'm just talking to you about what I like. On to the library. One white, one other. Again, enchantments. You're going to see a lot of enchantments, a lot of artifacts on videos like this that I make. These are my favorite permanent types. Historically in Magic the Gathering, these are the permanent types that go up in value the most. They are the most difficult to deal with. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you may pay 1, and if you do, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. This is a card that I just picked up for around $2 for the extended art. I think this is a lot of value. If you have mana open and somebody does a board wipe, for example, you know, you can get a little bit of value off of anything that's getting removed. Anytime someone kills something, just pay 1 mana in response to any type of destroy spell. Flying evasion, that's a big deal. You can throw swords on flyers. You can throw big equipment on flyers. Like, flyers are great blockers. I really like Haunted Library, and at $2, it seemed like a no-brainer just to have it for the collection. You're not going to see a lot more of these. This is more so a card that I'm just buying because I wanted to have one in the collection. A couple more Honored Heirlooms like we talked about. What do we have here? Quandrix Command. I think that this card at 3 mana has some potential in the future. I paid $2.19 for the extended art. These commands, the 3-cost commands specifically, the instant cost 3-cost commands are very, very strong historically. Kolaghan's Prismari Command. Quandrix Command, again, I do think has some potential. It has choose to return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand, counter target artifact or enchantment spell, put 2 1/1 counters on target creature, target player shuffles up to 3 target cards from their graveyard into their library. So again, like I was just talking about, like Yawgmoth's Will, oftentimes when a player casts that, they're about to combo off. Go target the 3 worst cards with that bottom ability. Make a fight better for, or a battle better for your creature when you go to combat damage with the 2 1/1 counters. Counter target artifact or enchantment spell. Big enchantment coming out, counter it. And then return target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. That could be your stuff, that could be their stuff. There's a lot of versatility on this card, and at $2 for an extended art, I just think it was a very easy, no-brainer kind of pickup. I was buying Prismari commands when they were like $3 or $4, and then I started seeing those pop up in modern lists. And I wasn't surprised when I saw Prismari Command pop up in modern lists. It reminds me a lot of Kolaghan's Command. It has similar effects. This is very different from Kolaghan's Command and Prismari Command, but I still think it has a place in some sort of format. I do think the card is good. All right, next we have Extended Art Foil Glorious Sunrise, which I ended up paying, let's see here, $3 for this. And I just like it. Medium power level, 5 mana value enchantment. This offers a suite of different effects. 2 green, 3 other. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose 1. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. Target land gains tap, add 3 green until end of turn. Draw a card if you control a creature with power 3 or greater, or you gain 3 life. So just being able to choose between, do I want ramp? Do I want to give the team trample? Do I want to draw a card? If I control power 3 or greater, do I just need to simply gain some life? Maybe I have an effect on the battlefield that's going to let me amplify that life gain effect. There's just a lot of different things you can do with this card. I should just call this series Jake Buys Enchantments. All right, next we have, sometimes with these. All right, let's get these. All right, Extended Art Death Tyrants. These would have been $2 a card. I just like this card. This is kind of a spec. It's a pet card of mine. A Beholder Skeleton. For 5 mana value, you're getting a 4/6 menace, but it has this effect, Negative Energy Cone. Whenever an attacking creature you control or a blocking creature an opponent controls dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, and then for 1 black and 5 other, you can return it from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So if it gets killed, bring it back. This is going to be medium power level card. This is not a CEDH level card. I'm not going to try to say that it is. This is the type of card that's just, are you playing stuff like Thran Dynamo? Do you have a bunch of big mana so you're able to get something like this back from your graveyard consistently? I really like it because it goes wide, and that menace, it's very difficult to block, and then also that recursion. I just think the card is very good, and at $2 for the extended, I thought I'd pick it up. Next we have, yes, a foil Marsh Flats from Modern Horizons 2. The price I paid for this was $20 flat, and I will continue just picking up foil fetch lands for around $20. I like to just go ahead and pick one up every now and again. People say, oh yeah, you know, they print the fetch lands enough, they're going to bottom out. Well, here's the thing. They do for a little while. The problem with that line of thinking is it ignores the fact of how versatile these cards are. The power level of these cards can't be ignored. They are desired in not only Commander, which is the lifeblood of MTG, but they're also needed as 4-of play sets in a lot of different constructed formats. They're wanted in Modern, they're wanted in Legacy. They're very high demand. Whenever they're in Standard, you want a 4-of play set of all of them for whatever deck you're running. So I think that these cards are very, very strong. And yeah, Modern Horizons brought us a lot of different variants of these that really drove the price down, which is awesome for players. And I just continue picking these up. $20 for a foil fetch is always a good thing. Next we have... yeah, this is an interesting card. These are foil extended Sphere of Annihilation. I paid 75 cents a card here. It's an artifact that for 1 black and X, let's go ahead and get one out. It's an artifact that for 1 black and X, Sphere of Annihilation enters the battlefield with X void counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile Sphere of Annihilation all creatures and planeswalkers with mana value less than or equal to the number of void counters on it. And all creatures and planeswalker cards in graveyards with mana value less than or equal to the number of void counters on it. Just absolutely brutal. It exiles everything. It exiles everything from graveyards as well. It just needs to make it back to your upkeep. That's it. It's got like the Niven Ural's disc kind of effect, where it's like it just needs to make it back around to you. It will eat absolutely an artifact removal from the player who stands to lose the most from it, so keep that in mind. But yeah, this card is very strong, and again, at 75 cents, I was like, this definitely has some room for upside. I just feel like people haven't really thought about this card, but it seems very strong. I ended up buying 8 copies of these, I believe, at 75 cents a card. All right, next up we have promo Curse of Hospitality. This was $3. I don't need to talk about why I like Curse of Hospitality again, but yeah, I think it's a fun card. It's got some good potential. $3 for the foil curse, just one there. And next up we have Cordial Vampire. This was bought in response to Crimson Vow. This card saw a pretty big increase in price. I went ahead and I picked one up. I think I might have 1 or 2 others in the collection, but I wanted to get one of these because I figured the card would see an uptick in price. Vampires are a very beloved tribe. They have a lot of heat, especially because Edgar Markov is it's one of the best vampires that you can run as your commander. It is essentially the vampire commander. That eminence is just so powerful. In Cordial Vampire, it didn't really do anything for a long time. It came out in Modern Horizons 1, and it sat until Crimson Vow came out, and then it saw like a 300 or 400% increase in price, and so I wanted to make sure I had one in the collection. Like I said, I think I have a couple other ones, so I picked up an extra one just in case. Next up, we have a bunch of showcase non-foil Katildas. These were purchased at 99 cents a card. The reason I picked these up is you're getting a 1/1 for 2, but human creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any of this creature's colors. It has this big put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's a big ability in EDH if you get there. Pro werewolves I don't really care about so much, but giving all of your humans tap, I do think that this card is going to be one of those like long hold type things. I think I have a few more of these in the collection. Definitely a spec here, but yeah, at 99 cents a card, I do think that Katilda has some room to really blow up in the future. Another Malevolent Hermit. You may have seen some of these in the previous what I'm buying. I picked up a couple more of these. 1 blue, 1 other for a 2/1, and you can sacrifice it to counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3, and that's for 1 blue. And then Disturb for 1 blue and 2 other. You can cast it from the yard. It has flying. Non-creature spells you control can't be countered. If Benevolent Geist would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, exile it instead. So it has some versatility on it. It has that nice built-in counter spell. I think this card is super duper strong. It's really good. The foil extended here I picked up for $7, and then there's another one in this video that I picked up for $8. I just think that the card has legs in medium to medium high level EDH. I don't think it might have some legs in CEDH. Oh, here's the second one. I'll just set that down here. I have seen that the community generally doesn't really want the card. A couple decks want it, but... Oh, and then these are actually silly. God, I bought these Codex Shredders forever ago, and they're just now making it into a video. These were purchased at 50 cents a card. There's some versions in here that came out of mystery boosters. Codex Shredder was purchased in response to, God, that blue-black beholder that came out in Adventures of Forgotten Realms. Target player puts the top card of his or her library into her graveyard, and for 5, you can tap it, sack it, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So it has some fun recursion, but it has this really nice effect that for tap, you can remove the top card of the library, and you can mess with opponents with this card. I picked this up in response, like I said, it was a kind of an impulse buy. But, you know, whatever. I have a bunch of foily Codex Shredders for 50 cents a card. You know what? Whatever. And next, some more Death Tyrants. Yes, they're beautiful. I love this card. Like I said, the recursion, it's difficult to block because of the menace. It has this go wide built into it when stuff dies. That's my specs right now for December, what I'm buying. I'm going to continue picking up these foil fetch lands whenever I can. Otherwise, we have a bunch of stuff, a lot of what you could call penny stocks here with the heirlooms, the shredders, the spheres, the laid to rest, Curse of Hospitalities, 4 of them that we purchased in this video. We got all the Katildas as well that are super cheap. A few things for the collection that are specifically going to go in decks. One of the Curses of Hospitality, one of the spheres as well, the Cordial Vampire Haunted Library, the Glorious Sunrise. Lots of fun stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this video of what I'm buying. I can't wait to hear in the comments about how these were terrible, terrible choices. Until next time, I'm Drake, and I hope you've enjoyed the magic show. We will talk to you on the flippy flop, and go buy yourself a nice ice cream. You deserve it. And if you're lactose intolerant, don't get yourself an ice cream, because you do not deserve all of the terrible gas that you're going to get if you decide to do it. If you're still listening, you are a champion. Let me know in the comments if you are a champion, because you needed to still be listening, and you are a champion if you still are. Goodbye.